So, you're young and you feel like you've been wasting your life. You've just finished school and you're stuck in a 9-to-5 job, thinking, is this what life truly has to offer? This is known as a quarter-life crisis. Wikipedia defines a quarter-life crisis as a crisis involving anxiety over a direction and quality of one's life which is most commonly experienced in a period ranging from a person's early 20s up to their mid-30s. But as it turns out, this is actually a good thing. Experiencing this crisis right now actually benefits you by preventing a midlife crisis later on. I had mine about 2 years ago when I saw people making a living off of just a couple hours of work a day, and I thought to myself, what am I doing wrong? So I started trying different ways to make money. I started studying a lot harder. I started reading books. And for some reason, none of these things worked. I was still miserable. I was still stressed. I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I would beat myself up for not knowing until I discovered that missing piece that I'm going to describe to you in this video. So I'll be giving you 5 actionable steps you can take right now to overcome it. And I'll be giving you my personal experience with using these steps and how it benefited me in the long run. Also, before you start rushing into things, you start ending relationships, quitting jobs, quitting school, everything, don't. Take it slow, and I'll explain later in the video why you should do that. So let's first try to understand what the quarter-life crisis is and how it works. So the first thing you need to understand is that this is completely normal. A study by Frontier magazine suggested that part of the reason why young adults use sports, alcohol, drugs, and traveling is a way to cope with this feeling of not knowing what to do next. All of these activities are fine in moderation, but they will in the long term only exacerbate your feeling of being lost. So whether you just hit this crisis or you've been struggling with it for a while, this video will help you understand the reason behind it and how to improve the feeling of having a midlife crisis. So the routine I'll be describing to overcome this is called the pause routine. The first step is pretty self-explanatory. Practice mindfulness. The first step is to actually take your foot off the gas pedal and slow down for a second and reflect. You need to actually give yourself time, and mindfulness is one of the best ways to achieve this. Best-selling author Austin Kleon describes that sometimes he just simply starts ironing his clothes because it's a boring task and it gives him time to reflect and come up with ideas. Without describing it as such, what Austin actually was doing was practicing mindfulness. This is what mindfulness really is, focusing on the moment, not thinking of any stressors, not thinking of the future, not thinking of the past, just being in a present moment, focusing on whatever it is, whether it's your breathing, whether it's working out, whether it is just ironing clothes. This allows your brain to basically do a refresh. It takes out all the stressors and new ideas, new solutions are able to pour in. Now, the key here is to remember that you should not let these ideas come in. Even if they are good ideas, you should save them for later. Just remember that you had this idea and then focus on whatever it is you're doing, whether it's your breathing, whether it is looking at the sunset, or again, ironing clothes. The key point here is that you need to be doing this consistently and over a longer period of time to see any results. This is also part of the reason why I said do not make any rash decisions, because what if your job that you quit actually was necessary in order to achieve your goals? And through mindfulness, you come to that conclusion. Again, take your time and be patient. The next step is a little more complex, so bear with me. Acknowledge your past. So you must compare yourself with your past self, but only in a positive context. I achieve this by journaling. At the end of the day, I write down things that I did that day, what I could have done better, how I could improve tomorrow, how I feel, what went well, what I'm grateful for. Now, you can do all of these things, but if journaling isn't for you, you can actually just write down the same stuff in your calendar, and you can come back like 3-4 weeks later and you will see a significant improvement if you've been doing the things that drive you forward. Part of the reason why people lose motivation on things is because they don't see instant improvement. But when you have real physical evidence of the progress that you've made, even if these steps are baby steps, they're still steps, okay? And this will motivate you to keep going. Just the other day, I went back and read my journal from 1.5 years ago, and the improvement that I saw there was simply something else. Third point is to understand your ideal self. Alex Hormozi has defined success as being an understanding of one's beliefs, traits, and skills. You can actually be as happy as you truly believe you deserve to be. And you can do that by defining what your ideal beliefs, skills, and traits are. My ideal self is helpful, inspiring, grateful, in shape, has skills to solve virtually any problem in the world if need be. And this is the person I want to become. This is the person I visualize each time I meditate. Now, your preferences may change. This is just life. If your ideal person changes, there's nothing wrong with it. You can just redefine your ideal self and repeat the process all over again. You get better at it in time. So for an example, if I wanted to become a policeman as a kid, I don't want to become a policeman right now. My ideal self right now, which is what I described, I may not want to be that ideal self 10 years from now, and that's fine. Redefining who you want to be and then correcting your course as needed is completely fine, and this is what life really is about. The fourth step is to stop going the easy route. You need to practice delayed gratification. So what this means is you need to do the hard things like working out, eating healthy, studying, and you need to avoid the instant gratification activities such as masturbation, drinking, drugs. You need to remove these things from your life so that you may focus on the hard things. Like I mentioned before, the instant gratification activities, they give you a sense of feeling good in the moment, but they don't help you out in the future. In fact, they will make you feel worse because you have to come back to your boring life after whichever of these activities you use to cope, and it will not help you, really. You can try morning runs, meditation, working out, cold showers, asking that girl or guy out that you had a crush on for a while. Basically anything that is hard, it will condition your mind to doing the hard things. This will train you to put in the work without receiving anything in return at this very moment, but it will likely benefit you in the future. So the last step is to actually enjoy the process. This is easier said than done, but once you actually start enjoying the struggle of becoming someone who you want to be on this floating rock, growing through time and space at exquisite speeds, you will put things into perspective. Meditation is something that helps with this, actually. If you are calm and mindful, you will reach a point where every struggle that comes up, you will just see that as an opportunity to improve yourself. You must have the humility to look at your life right now, look at the struggles you're dealing with, and think to yourself, I love this. I love everything about this. I want more of this because this is what life truly is about. So whenever I'm dealing with something that's hard, but it's helping me in the long run, I just tell myself, I love this. I love the feeling of knowing that I'm moving towards my goals. Even though at the moment it's hard, but I enjoy the process even if it's hard because I know that in the end it will take me towards greatness. Now, these were the 5 points of the pause routine. As promised, I'm going to explain to you the actual benefits that I saw from practicing this whole thing. So the first thing is I'm a lot more happy and content. Meditation is something I've been doing for like 2 years on and off, and so far it has been interesting to say the least. I saw a huge dip in stress and a huge spike in good ideas. I was a lot more calm, less reactive. If someone cut me off in traffic, earlier I would have flipped them off, I would have yelled, I would have been so upset about this until the end of the day. Even when I go to bed, I would be upset over a thing that happened hours ago or even days ago. Right now, I just shrug and I think it is what it is and I go on with my life. I'm less reactive when somebody insults me or says something that I don't like. I don't get angry. I just acknowledge what they said and I move on with my life. So meditation is something that will inevitably just make your stress a lot lower because you're in the state of acknowledging what is going on with your brain and body and how it reacts to outside forces. This is what meditation is. You're focusing on this moment and how you feel and how you want to react. So how I meditate is I just sit down and I breathe. You can do any form of meditation, and I suggest you check out an app called Medito on the Play Store and App Store as well. They have different variants for meditation, so you can just find one that works for you. And I am not affiliated with them, by the way. This is just an app that I used to use. Now I just do it by myself. I sit down in the sun in the morning. I do deep breathing. I clear my mind. I don't think of anything that's stressful. I don't think of my online business, my day job, my channel, whatever. I just focus on that moment and I breathe. Another thing I noticed is that I am genuinely content with where my life is going, which is what most people want from life, it seems. Each day I visualize what my ideal self is and I acknowledge the fact that I'm moving towards it. Sometimes it's baby steps, sometimes it is huge steps, but I'm moving towards it, and this makes everything just a lot more clear. I am so happy and I'm so content with where my life is going. I know that I will eventually end up where I need to be, and this has just drastically decreased my stress levels. I no longer have any sleep issues, and we all know sleep is super important for the mind and body. And none of this happened until I started practicing mindfulness and defining my ideal self very clearly. My ideal self, I'm becoming more and more like that person every single day. I am more helpful, I am less reactive, I am genuinely helping out people out of my free will simply because I want to, because this is what I want to be like in the future too. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly improving my fitness. I'm improving my mental clarity. I'm investing into myself heavily. Every single dollar I make, I put into supplements, or I put into workout equipment or programs, whatever it is that I need. I invest into myself, and I am becoming more and more like the person I want to be. There's like this wave, like a momentum pushing me forward. Like I cannot even stop. I cannot just sit down for one day and watch YouTube or do something that I used to do in the past. I just have this sort of like someone pushing me from behind to keep moving forward. And this is what really practicing mindfulness and visualizing heavily does to you. I mean, I'm even getting compliments on things that I never thought I would get compliments on. Like I got this cut simply because my hair was in the way when I was practicing Muay Thai. So I just got this out of just practical need, and people are complimenting, saying I look much better without the long hair. Everything in my life sort of is good at the moment. Like I'm not a millionaire, I am not super popular, I am not the strongest man in the world, but these are not the things that my ideal self really is. My ideal self is different from those. If your ideal self is Mr. Beast, then sure, you can move towards that goal. You don't need to be fit, you don't need to be particularly adding to your community, you don't need to be a lot of things that I want to be. So this is why you need to define your ideal self based on someone. You need to combine from different people that you find inspiring. Take out the personality traits that you love about them and leave out the ones that you don't want. And you will combine your own ideal self, which would be so different from anyone else's. And like I already mentioned, my sleep is just amazing. I also take ZMA before my sleep. I started doing that again after a couple of years of not doing it. I have zero stress in my life, and my sleep is so good, I sleep like a little baby, essentially. So if you're struggling with sleep and you're struggling with a quarter-life crisis, solving a quarter-life crisis is going to massively improve each area of your life. And I stopped focusing on things that really don't matter to me all that much. So I actually dropped out of university. I was studying construction, and I stopped chasing this dream of making so much money and being, stuck at a 9-to-5 job, because I enjoy freedom. I enjoy the fact that I can be right here and make this video for you. And I've been able to do this because I've made conscious choices to actually allow me to do things that I enjoy doing. And this is why it's so important to do the things that you enjoy doing. Because sure, you can study hard, you will get compliments from people around you for studying hard, you will get a good paycheck, you will get a raise, your boss will compliment you. These are all instant gratification. These will not help you in the future. Because years from now, you will start thinking to yourself, I've been doing this all my life, everyone's been so complimentary towards me. And you will realize that this was all instant gratification. This was all the easy work. Even though studying is hard, I'll admit, but it was easy compared to the hard things that you could have done and things that you would have actually maybe even enjoyed. If you're able to find something that holds long-term future benefits, which makes it delayed gratification, and you also enjoy the process of doing that, that is your passion. You should not let that go. If you find your passion, you should focus on that entirely. Now, obviously, you still need some other areas of your life to be stable, at the very least, like a job. But if your passion is gardening, for an example, you can actually even make money gardening. You can make your own gardening business, for an example. This is your passion. I am on my way to finding what my passion is. I feel like I'm so close. I still need to define some things about my ideal self, but I'm so very close to finding my passion. And once I do, I will remove everything else from my life, every distraction, and I will focus solely on my passion. So if you made it this far, I encourage you to actually comment below what your current experience with the quarter-life crisis is and how you're going to implement the pause techniques to improving your life. So this is kind of like a little accountability thing too. The comments will hold you accountable to the actual activities you need to be doing to achieve freedom from the quarter-life crisis and achieve happiness. And if you still are a little confused about mindfulness and about meditation, but you're interested in it, then you can subscribe down below. I'll be making a video on how to actually meditate and how I do it and what you should focus on if you have zero idea on how to do it. Remember, chase your dreams with sweat, not just words. Fly high. Mwah.